Discord. What else am I missing? Go live there. This has been um, something cool too. Is or competing with the Wolf of All Streets and Joe Walsh, the former Republican congressman. I've been trying to get that dude to even reply back to a message. Some of these people are just all about themselves. This afternoon, I'm finally meeting with somebody who has been trying to get a hold of me for a while. So hopefully that'll change my karma. He's been wanting to interview me. I think he actually did. I think we did do one like a long time ago. And either we were going to do another or I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to helping the guy. You know, he's diversifying his types of guests. And okay, mates, lay down. Good boy. They go outside and they play on the back patio in like 100-degree heat. And then Matrix comes in. He's older. You know, he's 9. He's had health issues his whole life, and I love him. He's my buddy, right, big dog? I'm getting side eye. You already had plenty of snacks this morning and breakfast, so you just need to rest now. Wish Daddy could rest. All right, that's on silent. Let's get going here. All right, so the tech update for those who are laughing at me on Twitch. What's its nuts? Media CP. I'm not fully using it yet as far as the actual broadcast, but that's coming. But then there's we have to come up with a URL for my back end, and we did that. And they had to make some adjustments to it. It's a URL something something, .com. And they put the numbers 2020 at the end of it. And in my meeting with Reeve the other day, we agreed that we were going to get rid of that, which he did. And in the process, it reset, what my saved domain or URL is on the website. So when I went to log in, my username and password was no longer there. I had no idea what it was. And everything I've been trying, it turns out, was way wrong. I got the idea to go back into the history and use the old URL that has 2020 in it and see if that worked. And it did. And ironically, I was able to change my password and go back in to the new URL. I think. Yeah. And so now I'm in. I can manage the show, but that was at 10:30 this morning. And I was just like, okay, problem solved. I fixed something on my own, sort of. I mean, I was pretty much on my own. And then, of course, I wasn't prepared to get started today. But I'm telling you all that because one of the media services is, of course, online radio. But the other service that I can provide, in this case to myself, is video streaming. And when I go to that, there are what StreamYard called, or Restream called destinations. There is stream targets. And I can put literally every Facebook page that I'm associated with that is brain farting, that is capable with their standards. Like you have to have a minimum of 100 subscribers or something like that, I think. And some of them are too new. They don't have that yet, but that's coming. In fact, I'm putting them all on one page on the website so I can send you to the website and say, hey, here's all my socials. Subscribe, do what you got to do that's going to benefit you. I don't want you subscribing to everything. Because if there's a page that is for conservative talk, like Right Talk Radio, and you're progressive, you're probably not going to follow the conservative one. I hope that you do. I hope that you do because as an intelligence professional, being with the Secret Service for 21 years, I learned, I won't say that we learned, because plenty of my colleagues did not learn shit. But I learned to take information from both sides. As a police officer, I had sworn to be as you protect and serve, I had sworn to investigate to find the truth, not just to find someone guilty that I think was guilty. And I think I lost out on plenty of arrests throughout my career because I did that. But you know what I can do? I can sleep at night. Where some of these other people, they're probably sleeping too, but they're still telling themselves that they were the good guy all along. And that's why, this open letter to law enforcement, I want to do each of these right, which means if I don't have one a day, there's plenty of more shit for me to talk about in the world that I can offer an actual level of expertise. Not just because I have a microphone in front of my face, but because I had history in front of it as well. Some of these kids can't say that. And I get that they're going to be more receptive to, or actually the younger audiences are going to be more receptive to them. That's great. Knock yourself out. Have at it. But you still need a certain level of expertise. My dad was a general contractor. And when he worked with the local VOTEC schools, VOTEC is for teaching kids a career. Perhaps they're not exactly as likely to go on to college. So there's certain blue-collar jobs that they can learn that gets them into the workforce right out of high school. And as a contractor, as a carpenter, essentially, he'd get these kids from the VOTEC schools that would say something like, well, when I start up a wall, blah, 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 whatever. You're 18 years old. How many walls have you studied? How many houses have you built? And his saying is 20 years a cowboy and never rode a horse. There's all these experts out there who fancy themselves as experts. I just was talking with Sportcat as I was trying to go live. He sent me some article about paid protesters these protesters sign up for these companies and they get paid to go demonstrate, not really believing perhaps in the cause that they're trying to support or not support, as it were. And I'm like, dude, you read one story and you think that makes you an expert. You give me one story as a citation. Oh, this must be true because this whatever town Republican who's writing the story about Democrats, they're not going to be biased at all. I'm like, dude, stop trying to impress me or piss me off because you're really doing neither. So anyway, that's my past half hour. Okay, so I can close this tab out. I can actually close this tab out because one less. Oh, that's kind of cute. A black bear was caught on video taking a dip in a hot tub in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That's kind of cute. He's like, people, leave me alone. You know, when that bear hops out of the tub, you're going to run because you're between it and its only set of steps off that deck. uh ah, okay. I wanted to see that. This was, yeah. That was, we talked about that last night when Gillian Anderson, a fitness guru, lesbian fitness guru, was on CNN. I mean, why do you have her there talking about race in the first place? She's in fitness. She's from The Biggest Loser. Now, turns out to be one of the biggest losers. She said that I don't know what her purpose was. Well, I mean, you know what the hell her purpose is, but she's saying that only 2% of the white population were slave owners. Okay, so for somebody who requires citations for literally every time I fart, where do you get that information? And why do you care to push that narrative? Because she's making it sound like white people were great to black people. And I think in all actuality, there's probably a lower percentage of white people who actually were great during the time of slavery or Jim Crow or today towards black people compared to the other side of the coin. But there was another post by my buddy Sean here is talking about let's share a screen. And I wish I just had like just a plain old 8647. That would be best. I think this is two. Yeah, that's the old. You know what? I can get rid of that because that's the old lettering. I'm talking about a background for behind me, and that's the old lettering. So we'll keep that there anyway. But this, and there's a bunch like this too. Um, I'm trying to make that even bigger, but that's how the bigger it goes. So I don't know who this. This is my buddy Sean Eubank. He's an architect, an amazing architect. Now I think he's taking time off from that and is with like the what's he doing? Like not Doctors Without Borders, but one of those types of things. Let me open it in a new tab here, see if I can see what he's been up to. Um, Good looking guy. I wish I would have been able to get to know him better because he was in the Rehoboth Beach area when I was in DC. Yeah, he graduated in like 2009 and really got into it right away. He built this amazing house in Rehoboth area. It's a little outside of town, but it was on stilts because it was kind of in a swamp area, like right off the river. And it was a very swampy area. Like your front yard was a swamp, and he built it on stilts. But then also did like the bedrooms on the first floor because what view you've got isn't going to be from the first floor. So put the living space up there. And that way, if there is some sort of flood where you got to get out, like in the middle of the night, you're there. Yeah, I thought it's a concept I'm using for the redesign of this house. But yeah, he work education. Let me see. He also did like business administration. He's doing like I can't think of it. Not like Doctors Without Borders, but one of those agencies that people think is a CIA front. Um, Something one of the agencies that Trump cut. Go figure. Anyway, let the warning ride forth once more. Yeah, um, that's the bell tower from the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Um, they would put a candle in the window when the British were coming, and the poem reads, and that's actually what they did. There would be one light in the window if it was by land, and two lights in the window if it was by sea. And then that's when Paul Revere rode off and told everybody. So let's get started with this then. Uh, I'm calling for a full investigation. This is this. I don't know who this dude is. ACA, CIA Justice, something like that. I don't know. But it's this guy in military fatigues sitting in the steps of a trailer, like a military portable headquarters. I'm calling for a full investigation into the actions of ICE and other agencies involved in this operation. I want the agents who ignored protocol and used force against me to be held accountable. This is, the one actual citizen. And I want the public to know the truth. This raid didn't just target immigrants, it hurt Americans too. Oh, I've been saying that. I've been saying that. I will not stay silent. I serve this country, and now I'm demanding it do right by me. And good for you, dude. Um, I'm going to try to. Send a quick message to Sean, my buddy that posted this. So ACA, CIA Justice. Trying to figure out who that is. Legal defense programs for immigrants. There you go. We'll move that one back here because it's relevant to that. I'd like to know exactly who that kid was, though, because I've seen a bunch of videos like this. The one we were looking at on Monday. We should actually go back and finish that, too. I might just do that. The one that Midas Touch Network put out, where, among other things, a veteran was tackled by ICE agents while peacefully protesting ICE agents. So tell me how this isn't a method or an attempt at intimidation. I want to try to stay up on the comments too today. Ken says, "Good morning, gang." He thinks Matrix wants another snack. Yeah, Matrix always wants another snack. It sounds like the Abby Williams show. Yeah, because I saw the shackles, and I think that was, a review of Gillian Anderson. I think her name is, from The Biggest Loser. Pretty butch lesbian. Well, a butch lipstick lesbian. Let's say that. She said that 2%, only 2% of white people. Good morning. I want to talk to you about this podcast or whatever it's called. I have plans to start one in the next several months. Yeah. That was from Greg from, I think it was on with us yesterday or the day before, also through Instagram. So I see you're still there. I can tell you this is a daily radio show. That's also on video, as you can see, as so many are now. Don Imus started that with radio. Howard Stern kind of sort of did some of the things. Pretty much he incorporated a lot more radio once he moved to Sirius, which is really when so much of this was starting to boom anyway. But now, if you aren't using the same broadcast or recording session for multiple platforms, you're creating content for multiple platforms. Like so many people are on YouTube, but also like Megyn Kelly is on Sirius. Some of the others were on radio, but it was like me, where they were on what's called brokered radio. So when I was on terrestrial radio, which ended about, I think back in July, at the end of June, something like that, was the end of my last contract. I didn't renew because I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was too much. And that alone has been a huge money saver. But also, there's smaller stations that are doing that. And I've found that from this little experiment of almost a year and a half, that those smaller stations don't have as much of the audience during the day as much as what they tell you they do. Maybe they get it at night when everybody's home, but not 11 to 1 Eastern, and certainly not 8 to 10 Pacific, where I was in Las Vegas. So Yeah, it's I dropped it. And the thing about internet radio is really you only need one internet station to carry you, and you can do your own. It's not hard. I sell that now. So, Greg, if you're still listening, I can help you start your own, not only your own show or podcast, but your own station, if that's something you actually want to do. I don't. It's not for everybody. You don't absolutely have to, but I'm saying that if that's the route you want to go, it's not hard. Um, yes, Ken, I'm still drinking coffee. So, and because it's internet, which for all intents and purposes is at least sort of global, you really only need one station to be global. But the thing about that is people are habitual creatures, and they get into their preferences. I always tell this story, and I don't do it to slight the person that I'm talking about. He's a very knowledgeable person. I still follow him to this day. But there's a guy named Sean Cannell. Cannell rhymes with channel. That's what he says. And it does, obviously. Sean is the guy who literally wrote the book on YouTube. He now has a company called Think Media, and it coaches people on how to be on YouTube. Well, he said, and this was back when I was still doing the doggy traders, he said to use your social media to direct your audience to your YouTube channel. Well, that sounds easy enough. All I got to do is say, hey, I'm going live in 10 minutes. Switch to YouTube and watch me there. Yay. There's a problem with that. So there's still a little, I think it's something with the gate I got to fix on the board, but it sounds a lot better. Anyway, so he says direct your audience to your YouTube channel. And remember, this is when I was doing the doggy traders, which talked about day trading, crypto investing, blockchain, stuff like that. And I can take that down. Blockchain, things of that nature. And I said, well, what if my audience, these business day trading types, isn't on YouTube? So I put myself to a challenge of that a little bit. And I started a Doggy Traders LinkedIn page, much more business oriented, right? And I had whatever number of YouTube followers on my Doggy Traders channel. By the end of this little experiment, I had grown I think I had like the Doggy Traders channel for about 3 months. I had grown my Doggy Traders YouTube page, or excuse me, my Doggy Traders LinkedIn page in 1 month, 1/3 of the total amount of time, to 3 times the size. So that would mean that I grew the Doggy Traders LinkedIn page to, say, 300 subscribers in a month, and only had 100 subscribers in 3 months on YouTube. And so the lesson that I learned there is that it is my job as a content creator, whether I call myself a radio host or a YouTuber, or I'm just starting to go with just broadcaster or content creator, because there is so much. I didn't know there's a back room in my house that was what I now call the broadcast studio, or just the studio. At first, I called it the YouTube studio. Well, then I started getting into podcasting. With or without video, we're no longer really just talking about YouTube. Then I started getting into internet radio. And once again, we're not talking about YouTube. We could be. I actually take this. So back to you, Greg. I take what I do here in the 2 hours a day here, and I reevaluate it. Like this segment that we're talking about right now, probably ain't going to make it. Maybe it will. I don't know. But I cut it up into segments of the different topics that we talk about. And I do each one of those segments, which usually runs about 20, 30, 40 minutes long. That is an individual podcast episode that gets put on what's called an RSS feed, stands for really simple simulcasting. And that's what you get through a podcast. Not the whole 2 hour show in one big clump. It still has commercials. I do what's called burn them in, mean when I do the commercial now, it's part of the recording that is the broadcast. I don't go and edit them out. So that's a benefit to the people I sell advertising to. Is not only are you going to get this now when it's broadcast on internet radio, but it's going to be included into the podcast, and it's going to stay in the podcast. It's going to be there forever. If somebody comes back in 20 years and listens to that episode, your commercial is going to be in it. And that's just because through this whole process, starting with reaching out to people on LinkedIn when I was teaching day trading, I've learned that so many people are so different. Videos that I would put on YouTube would do great. I put that same video as my Spotify as my podcast host to put out to other directories like Apple, Blueberry, and so on. And they suck. Next episode comes along and I put it on both. That one does well on Spotify and company and sucks on YouTube. And I like to think, I like to think that I watch and try to differentiate between one video and the other. But you really can't tell what I do in one that I don't do in the other, and vice versa. It's just the audience and who's there. So then I threw internet radio into it. And now there's really a third demographic that we speak to, in this case, on a daily basis. You can do a show daily, as in like during the business week. God love you. And some of these content creators do it. They're 7 days a week. And I think what they're doing, especially for those that aren't live, they're creating multiple videos and they're releasing them over the weekend, making it appear like they just did it that day. There's a lot of work that goes into this. And, you know, you see people like Brian Tyler Cohen or David Pakman or Ben Shapiro or Benny Johnson. And it's all about them. And I picked two from the left and two from the right. It's all about them. They don't tell you the team of people working not only on each video, but on each segment that are in the background. You don't see credits roll up the screen at the end of a show. They don't give any sort of shout out or thank you to the team of people supporting them. Here at Mastiff Media, it's just me. Oh, I got other content creators that create content for my stations, and I love them for it. I very much appreciate what they do. But they produce their shows, many of whom are also alone. And then because they're smart enough to want to engage a larger audience, they essentially, we call it that they license the episodes to me. It's an email agreement. That's it. And when the day comes that either one of us has burned the other bridge, or my friend Corey had two co-hosts that he was working with who didn't put the same effort in that he was, that's why I'm working with him to come back on some level, maybe help out with Shady News Radio. You can learn about all of these stations too, by the way, Greg, and everybody else, by going to mastiff.media. That's our company website. You can get the live video of this show every time that we're live. It's not a 24/7 video feed. I can access it 24/7, but that doesn't mean there's something being broadcast to it that frequently. But anytime I'm live, where the feed goes to the homepage of the website, and then there's one of the tabs is our stations. That is all 6 stations of the Mastiff Media Network. Yerg's Radio is positive talk in a negative world. Rainbow Radio is for the LGBT community. Right Talk Radio is conservative. Forward Radio is progressive. Mastiff Sports is a sports station. And Shady News Radio is the 24-hour news station. My dogs recently were Mastiffs, except for Shady. So I started Mastiff Media when I only had Mastiffs. We have a project called In the Matrix. It's a directory that we're putting together for not just I think we've decided. I put it out there. I don't know that we've done it, officially, but I want to suggest to our team that in addition to making it a directory for radio stations like the stations we have, we want to also include podcasts, just broadcasting brands. So when somebody like Brian Tyler Cohen signs on to it, he doesn't have to say that he's a podcast. He doesn't have to say that he's a radio station or a YouTuber. He can just say that, hey, I'm a content creator, talking head. Come listen to me. And we'll check all the boxes with him that are most appropriate to give where he can be found. So that's that. We do consulting. Oh, he left. We do consulting. That is something we're doing on the arm right now. We're not charging for that because I want to help. I want that to help people get in the door. Not only get into podcasting who feel that they've got a story to tell, but also do it with us. And while I personally may be of a little bit more limited experience, and I can't tell you about my 20 years in radio, I'm working with people who can. Radio, TV news, content creation, out on scene, on location. So all of it. You will quite possibly have to pay. Maybe not right away. They'll mostly all do some sort of consultation, but do right by them and continue with them and, pay $100 a month to meet with them twice. So Yeah, covering some of the news. There was, see if we can find a cursor. That would be awesome. There was also this story. So this is, I forget what this guy's name is. I forget what this dude's name is. I like this guy. Um, Dollamore or something. Farron Dollamore, something like that. Let's find out here a second. Um, been working in progressive media since 2000. Oh, Farron Cousins. His show is called Farron Balanced. So again, another left-leaning guy, but he's pretty educated, and um, he's well, I guess he's obviously left-leaning, but I'd say he's still kind of fair and balanced because Trump. I mean, seriously, if you're still supporting this asshat, I can't help you. You guys inside for a little bit now. Yeah, none of this is legal. What is with? We do not dress like that. I'm sorry, guys, but when we wear a balaclava, the ski mask looking thing, it is to protect our identity. But that's because we're in high risk areas that the bad guys, we're talking about organized crime, drug cartels, things of that nature, have intelligence and people out there in the street looking for us and developing contacts and trying to figure out, the days of you don't mess with the police, honor among thieves, you don't mess with the police. That's over. They don't do that. They don't live like that anymore. They mess with the police. And some of these people have wings of their company, of the racketeered, corrupt organization that do nothing but that. But immigrants who are going to court, they don't have that type of connection. This bullshit about going after the worst of the worst and all these murder, and Sportcat tried to put that in my face yesterday. I'm like, dude, fuck you. This is what's happening every day. And if you're okay with this, that's pathetic. Oh, now somebody's lighting me up. If you're okay with this, that's pathetic. And just because you've got police markings on your vest, that wasn't enough for us. It was a reason for other police not to shoot us, but we showed ID with a badge, something that looked decent, which also sucked because our Secret Service IDs did not look decent. It was I was amazed the number of times through my career when I would show somebody my credentials, my wallet with my police ID in it. It's a set of it's in my drawer over there for my retired credentials. Um, uh, it's all I use it for. You know, some of these guys use their what's called a commission book. It's a folding wallet, and on one side or one half is your picture and ID and information. Another bottom part is this person is duly sworn to do whatever the hell. Um, and then there's another wing of it another page of it that holds your badge. Well, some guys like to use that as their actual wallet. And like, no way. Because if you're in a neighborhood like this and somebody else pops out of the bushes with a mask on and without police ID, and they say, give me your wallet, and that's what you give them, you're dead. You're going to get shot. Now, these asshats, I don't even know what the hell's on his hat. As like SP. I don't know what's on his hat, but these guys are holding or are wearing these balaclavas in situations that's unprofessional to wear a balaclava. You don't need to hide your face to an immigrant family in a car. But this guy's also got sunglasses over top of his eyes. Like that's going to give away who you are. All he's doing is limiting his own visibility. Which, when something like this happens, I mean, he's already potentially hitting the wrong person because the people in his car were not a threat. Just like that kid in Jacksonville was not a threat. I don't care what Sportcat says. I don't give a shit. He talks about no. I know there's some certain times where, as an EMT or whatever various levels of emergency response he's able to perform, yes, it's dangerous for him too. But nowhere close to the police. I mean, it's if he even thinks that it's close, that's laughable. It just proves my point. But we have, as police, also accept a certain level of danger. And that's not just police, but law enforcement accept a certain amount of danger that is part of our job. When that guy walks up to you with a hoagie in his hand and calls you every name in the book, that's your job to stand there and take it. Um, he's saying that the video of Ferran was on mute on Twitch and outgoing outlets, but you can hear it on Discord. Doesn't know where that goes through a different channel. All right, well, it shouldn't be on mute. You're not hearing that right now? Yeah, I would. Yeah, there is no reason for those shots to have been fired. So this is back to the beginning. This is before. No. Okay. Oh, more shit to figure out now. Um, Check 1, 2. Let me see it again. How about now? They did not have to shoot the vehicle in self-defense because they weren't in the way of it. That's odd because that's never happened. Because that's why I use all these different. I only hear you, but not the video. Tell me if you can hear Jesse talking right now. Um, was that any better? I had volume on the actual thing turned down. Oh, that too. How about this? Oh, Jesse, someone else. Still no. Why the hell is that? All right. Well, that's something I got to test now. Um, I can never do this either. Uh, uh, Settings. I don't think this is it though. Yeah. Um, Performance. System. No. Format. Yeah. See, this isn't it. This isn't. I don't know why. Uh, I don't know why that isn't there, but music videos and more. Um, Live translate caption settings. No, I don't need captions, but nope. All right, well, I'll have to work on that then for. Yeah, Farron Cousins, Jesse Dollamore, and Brittany Page, who is Jesse Dollamore's wife, are grouped together. That could be it. Look at you. Super Van Ken, man, to the rescue. Now tell me how to fix my sound. Yeah, this does piss me off, though. Um, Stable, subtitles, sleep timer, playback speed, normal, quality. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that pisses me off because it's going out here. I mean, it's registering everywhere, and when I say that, see, nothing else is muted. Everything else is equal. No, there's nothing else. There's nothing else that's on mute. Some of the volume levels were actually down. The thing about that is when they're below 0 decibels, it's still the same color as when they're equal. So it's a little, you got to pay attention a little bit better to see it. But I turned it up and you're still not seeing it. Turned it up and you're still not seeing it, or you're still not hearing it. So that's kind of an issue. And every time I got to fix something like this, I can never remember where the fuck it is. Uh, oh, that's it. Output. That's it, right there. Um, I just found it. I'm pretty sure I just found it. Tell me if this works. Moment of truth. Still nothing. Output. That's for that. That's nothing there's muted. It's all on stereo. Um, oh, no, it didn't stay. And that's not right either. Input. I go back to that now. Yeah, no, I went on that one. How's this? Still nothing. Volume is up. That keeps changing back too. Yeah, I don't get this. It's pissing me off because I wish you could hear this. I wish you could hear this. What I'm hearing. All that did was add more Discord channels. It did nothing to. It did nothing to sound voice meter. Okay, so that's still voice meter. Volume output is all the way up. That's still voice meter, and volume is all the way up. All sound devices. I want to make sure that all these other devices that are on here are actually also turned up because that's happened before too, and I don't know why. Yeah. Everything's volume's up there. Yeah, but it's not on 3. Some of these. Some of these volumes are actually down. I just saw the one was down at like 8. Okay. Now I got to find apps. Should be set as a default too. Um, that is so weird that I don't think it's in apps. I think it's in the further down on here. Volume mixer. That could be it right there. Microsoft Edge is all the way the hell down. What the hell? Which one is Edge now? Which one am I using for that? It might be no, because that's. I guess just tell everybody to come to Discord. Because these are all things that are. What the hell? Open broadcast. There's shit on here that's like. Check 1, 2. Check. Coming up on there. That's not it. Preferences. Audio devices. Windows default. There's a couple. There's some that aren't letting me share. There were some that I did try. Let me know if you're hearing that. It's still not doing it. Um, I don't understand why Microsoft Edge isn't letting me. Good for you, dude. I don't pity the guy at all. I don't understand why the sound is not coming through. Wave, some of these aren't letting me. Wave browser. Where do I put that? Um, Liberals already ruined it. That's what you just missed. The AO3. Dude got his skull cracked. Yeah, I don't pity the guy. All right, so I think I might have found it. Um, trying to figure out why that. Yeah, I agree. I just wish you guys could hear it. Um, so now I got a wrench on that. Ken, thanks for your help. Um, that's on Chrome. I don't understand why that's not. Um, I mean, if you're hearing me, why can you not hear what else is going out on that same frequency? Put it on auxiliary, and there's other wave browsers. That doesn't make sense. Uh, um, apps, installed apps. There's maybe the other thing is I can reinstall Wave browser if it's even in this list. I mean, that's the whole reason why I've got um, four different browsers that I use for every show. That's the one, and that's what I use there for um, for to broadcast on Restream. Something else, hopefully that what's it's not um, Media CP helps me get rid of. Ugh. voice meter, volume. Microsoft Edge is the only one that it won't let me. Oh, now that's back down. What do I use on Edge? I use that. So I do the virtual cable. So Edge lets me fix it. This one, I've got web browser on here 3 times. And that's what I'm using to broadcast. Oh, I did this. Now let's try it again. Audio. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Default. Why is that going there and the others aren't? Yeah, and I could probably just reboot this whole thing, and it'll fix it for whatever reason. But I mean, that's got just such a pain in the ass. We're not that fat. These are deputized Proud Boys. They're not real federal agents. Meanwhile, let's back this up just a little bit. Let's just watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Right. Boom. I don't know. You tell me. I know there's only so much that you can hear today, and I'll figure that out. We'll have another tech day. What is funny is this happened to Keith Edwards live a few days ago. I forgot how he figured it out. Maybe something in Chrome or Google and Chrome. Yeah. The one thing, I don't know what you guys can see. I'm not even sharing right now. Hold on. Here is the one settings for, and this one right here. Every time, like when Microsoft Edge was down here at this, and this was not colored blue, it was the same as this color down here, a gray deactivated button. As soon as I set this from whatever it had before to where I actually wanted it, this lit up, became active, and I slid it all the way up. These two, this is Wave browser, another internet browser. Down here are 2 more entries for Wave browser. First of all, Why do I have four wave browsers? And with those three operational, why is this one not even the top one, the one that's fucking shut up? Yeah, it's uh anyway, so that's the volume mixer. Then there's another voice meter. All sound about volume mixer. And then there's also more sound settings. We'll see what this gives me. Playback. Yeah, so this is I'm looking at a pop-up window that you guys aren't seeing, but there's nothing there. And then if I just go to the apps, this is it just allows me to I don't have any here, but this is just basically, I can either uninstall or install or whatever. Installed apps, app settings, share across all devices, app execution, uninstall updates. Yeah, no, that's that's not. Apps for websites. This is so. This is kind of sort of. That's not it. Um, Video playback. I mean, this isn't going to process video to enhance it. HDR, display, power. Yeah, there's nothing with audio on that, which also something pisses me off. Like, why are there no audio settings? And this is the installed apps where, again, I have Wave browser, but all this is going to do is let me uninstall it. It doesn't even let me modify. Um, I mean, this might be something. No. Nope. So awesome. I can't do my goddamn show again. Oh, God damn it. Well, I think I can actually talk about some of these. Yeah. Um, I got to reshare something else, though, to do that. So there's Donnie. I want to, let me see something. Yeah, see, I want to play this too. See if redoing that is also. Check 1, 2. Check.
When autocrats come to power,
Oh, there we go.
There's a 10-step plan.
Dude, you hearing that? I think we fixed something. I don't know how. Finally. All right. Well, I'm going to go back and show you that other video because it'll piss you off if all you did was see it. Still, yeah, it's exactly what I'm going to do is play it again. I just got to find which one I was playing. Oh shit! I don't want to kill that one. Yeah. All right. So here's this. What the actual fuck? It wasn't letting me.
Out of my head, dude.
Wasn't letting me play the screen. I think that what's happening is this is going really slow right now. I think I've got too much going, which is crazy because, how did I do that? There we go. There we are. Okay.
Yo, let's see some badge. Yo, let's see some badge work. Boys, let's see some badge work.
Do I have to answer to you? You got to answer to somebody.
So, wait, so you guys are just masked? We're just masked up?
Who are you?
Who are you guys?
This has got to stop.
You don't care what agency?
You don't care.
Bro, what agency you guys with? Are you guys working for the U.S. government or not?
So this guy tells the other guy to back the fuck up, and it's about to blame it on the liberals. Meaning, this is what I'm talking about when I say these guys don't have the situational awareness to be real federal agents. The guy right behind him is wearing a rainbow scarf.
Fuck up. Can I see some badge work,
Back
sir?
up.
Sir, can I see some badge?
Is the camera on? Is your... Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right?
Watch this. Right there. Right there. Dude is wearing a rainbow scarf. And this guy's about to say that it's the liberals who have ruined the country already.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Can we see some badge work, guys?
That's a rainbow scarf. What are you, a sellout? You're working for the Gestapo, the obviously conservative Gestapo. Oh, these guys just need to go away. Go back to your hunting cabins. Oh, wow. I got to make a note to uninstall and reinstall Wave browser. But, did I miss a call? Who was calling? Oh, Ken, I didn't even see you tried to call. Maybe that was when you were first telling me that you couldn't hear shit.
Hey guys, already ruined it. No number, no ID, no name.
This is a democratic process. It looks like it. Can we see some badge work?
Yeah. Country.
Hey man, can we see some badge work before you go?
So none of the guys that I worked with on the street, I mean, there's some guys that were out of shape. None of them were that fat.
Can we see some badge numbers?
Hey, sorry.
Get the plates, bro. Get the front plate.
There is no front plate.
Oh, wait.
Oh, so you guys, is this legal? Hey, man, can we see some badge work?
Yeah, can we get your badge number?
Here you go, my guy. Oh, you are right. Okay.
You're watching The Legal Breakdown, Glenn. That was a clip of a federal agent basically coming out and saying that, the liberals have already ruined this country, showing that he is the result of a weaponized government working to carry out the political agenda of the president of the United States, of this White House. So first and foremost, what are the legal ramifications of hearing a federal agent come out and say what he just said?
Brian, interestingly, the legal ramifications are, in a sense, less important than the practical ramifications. So
Correct.
This is something that would lead a police department, whatever agency this officer worked for, to probably discipline that officer, maybe even suspend that officer without pay for a period of time. Because I have to tell you,
It's not going to, that'll never happen because they're going to go back to the office. I've seen this. They're going to go back to the office and high-five each other and motherfuck liberals some more. They tried to set me up for supporting Hillary Clinton on the job. Meanwhile, when Trump took the lead on election night in 2016, they're all high-fiving each other. That's not okay. What's the difference?
when I heard that officer say liberals have already ruined the country in substance, I can't tell you how that landed with me as a former career prosecutor. I would have to go into court every day and present evidence of what police officers said, how they behaved, how they conducted themselves, including while they were making arrests, because for many years we had body-worn camera in Washington, D.C., where I practiced as a prosecutor. Police officers were required to activate their body-worn camera when they were involved in a potential arrest. So all of that became possible evidence in the case. This is where the practical implications of an officer saying something that is so wildly inappropriate. First of all, police officers are supposed to work in a completely apolitical fashion. That actually wasn't that hard from my experience, because I interacted with police officers every day from law enforcement agencies across the whole alphabet soup of law enforcement in D.C. FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, Capitol Police, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service Uniform Division, Amtrak Police, Metro Police, Smithsonian Police. It goes on and on and on. And of course, the Metropolitan Police Department, those are the local cops in Washington, D.C. They're under city control ordinarily, except when Donald Trump tries to seize control of the city police department. And Brian, I'm telling you, take this to the bank. I never had a police officer make such an overtly political and inappropriate statement during the course of an arrest, during the course of an interrogation. And here are the practical consequences. And I know not only because I tried cases to juries for 30 years, but I gave training classes every year to the Metropolitan Police Department about the do's and don'ts of, for example, interrogations, or the kind of things that you can and can't say when you're interacting with somebody who becomes a defendant. Because I would always say, I'm going to have to show this video to 12 citizens, 12 members of the community who are sitting in that wooden box as the jury. And if they see you do something improper, or they hear you say something improper, it's almost like the evidence of guilt is beside the point, and they're going to make decisions based on how you acted, how you conducted yourself as a member of law enforcement. So when I see this kind of overtly political statement, that will endanger successful prosecutions, and it will make a showing even if there is no prosecution. If, for example, there is a deportation hearing for this person, I don't know the exact circumstances of the person who we saw being arrested when the officer made that statement. But it is so devastating to, I think, the legitimacy of law enforcement when you start spouting off political garbage like that, I can only hope this person is held accountable for his police misconduct.
So it's pretty clear that anybody who is arrested by these people, specifically these people, their case against the arrestee is undermined by these comments. But what about the broader implications when you have, you have this one guy? To what degree does he speak for the entire federal agent force here? And how could that undermine the broader case against the people who are arrested, incarcerated, prosecuted, or deported by the whole range of the alphabet soup, as you mentioned?
Yeah, Brian, a couple of things to unpack here. First of all, we have a practice and a policy at the Department of Justice, and it covers all of the federal law enforcement agencies. And frankly, it covers MPD, the Metropolitan Police Department, as well, that when an officer engages in this kind of misconduct that we saw on that video, we as prosecutors are actually going to be required to disclose in every single case, in every single arrest that this officer was involved in, we're going to have to disclose this misconduct in this one case because it may actually be fodder for cross-examination of a defendant in another case. So, it will impact potentially more than just this one arrest. With respect to whether this officer speaks for the entire, I don't know if this is ICE. I don't know exactly what law enforcement component this officer was assigned to because they don't really show their insignia or their faces these days. But, listen, I always said one bad apple does not spoil the whole bunch. And we often had bad apples in law enforcement. We didn't let them taint the entire law enforcement community because I've always gone on record as saying in all my years working with multiple law enforcement agencies, the vast majority of officers are real protect and serve people. They're doing it right in the street, policing every day. But we do have our...
All right, so that right there is another reason why this pisses me off so much. Because the vast majority of the people we're seeing in these videos do not have remotely good tactics. They are not remotely decent shape. And they do not have any remote interest in protecting or serving. When you're high-fiving each other and cracking jokes about how many brown people you got today, that's not what this is supposed to be about. And that's not what the people in the other videos I have who are crying, white people who are crying because they can't buy groceries. Maybe if we let those people back in the fields where they're being paid pennies on the dollar for what's a fair wage, maybe if we let them back to do that, we wouldn't have to be making stupid arrests like this. And just maybe the lady who voted for Trump and is now pissed about it would be a little less pissed. What is it that I say, Ken? It's not that hard. There it is. Yeah. It's not that hard. Yeah, and this is another thing with the balaclavas that they're wearing, ski masks that they're wearing, is that they feel that there is anonymity. Voice recognition software is pretty damn good too. And when you say stupid shit like that, it's clearly very unique. Not just police officer, get on the ground. But the liberals already did it. I mean, come on. If that's what you're gonna in a moment like that, where it's your job to be professional and to hold yourself and to be held at a standard higher than others, all you did was tell people you got a little dick and you're way overcompensating. See, and this is the other thing. You know, Ken says that we know that ICE agent is a Fox News / Newsmax only person. I was Secret Service. I listened to Fox. I watched Fox, sure. But I also watched CNN, MSNBC. Later on in my career, when they became available, independent journalists or talking heads who fancy themselves journalists. Why? Because when you're in the intelligence community, or rather, when you're in the law enforcement community, on some level, you're in the intelligence community. Now, that doesn't say that, or that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a spy or you're a case officer for the CIA. Intelligence is information. And that means if you only watch half of the news outlets, you only have half the stories being told. When I ran the operations center at the Washington field office, I would make kind of a little bit of a joke. We had a whole wall full of televisions. And of course, some of our primary sources of information was what the news already had. Was what the news already had. And then, some of the monitors were the secure camera feeds from the White House. Another one was the protectee schedules and who was in district and whatever else. But then the three main televisions had TV news during the day. That was it. We weren't allowed to watch movies or shit like that. And the joke that I would do was I would put Fox News over on the screen on the right, CNN on the left, CNN in the center, even though it's a little bit more left, but we only have three and they're right beside each other. CNN on the left or in the center, and then MSNBC on the left, or CNBC or something that's much more farther left on the left of the three TVs. But what you notice from that, the president is speaking somewhere today. And at that time, it was maybe President Obama. And this great thing that President Obama has done, whatever it was, is the feature story on CNN and MSNBC. Fox News had a totally different story. Fox News alert. Florida Senator Marco Rubio blows his nose. For live coverage, we're going to Florida. Yeah, I got it. And it's something literally as boring as somebody picking their nose. Meanwhile, the president of the United States just signed into law some important legislation. Or Fox would have they might be covering that story. But of course, they're not happy if they're not telling you about how the world's ending. And that was their breaking story. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't different sides to each of these stories, but it was so blatant and so flat out made up that you just sit there and you go, really? Case in point, we would be, when you're in Washington, D.C., the Washington field office, like every major city has a field office. Some smaller cities have a field office. It's not as big as a major one, of course, but it's based on the amount of activity that happens within that district, et cetera, et cetera. Washington, D.C. field office is essentially a substation of sorts for the president's detail and the vice president's detail. I spent 8.5 years in the Washington field office. I never did one white collar or counterfeit criminal investigation. That's how much protection there is in Washington, D.C. So we'd be at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel or wherever, any hotel in the city that the president or any other protectee was speaking at. And we get home at the end of the visit, because you're there kind of sort of 8 hours. Nobody's looking for you, as the saying goes. And if they are, you know that they're looking for you. You know why. You know you got other things to do. You go do them. But you get home at the end of whatever visit, and you turn on the news. And this would happen with Fox daily. You'd see the coverage of the event, and you kind of go, what? And so you call up another agent. Hey, Glenn. Glenn Kirshner is the attorney on the right side of your screen. Hey, Glenn, it's Yergs, pretending he's another agent. Was Brian Tyler Cohen the Fox News reporter covering the event today? And he's already laughing. Yeah. What the fuck event was he at? I don't know, dude. That's why we only laugh at Fox. We don't watch it. And that would be Glenn Kirshner, fellow agent, resident conservative, really taking an objective look at their coverage. Now, I know the entire legacy media is like that, left and right and left. But none of them are being sued for more than $1 billion for lying. And so when you say that an ICE agent is a Fox News and Newsmax only person, that's actually not true. Even most of my conservative colleagues, if for no other reason than to gain intelligence and see what the other side, as in the other side of the political spectrum, or the other side, as in their personal view, the enemy is saying. So now that we got audio seemingly fixed, I can see what I'm going to be testing late at night tonight. And I got my password for Media CP fixed, so I got that to fix. And yeah, I think we're going to be ordering pizza. It will showcase bias on a subject matter. Not sure what you mean. I guess, with watching multiple news sources. Yeah. And what they understand is that their listening audience or their viewing audience does not do that. The general public who watches Fox News watches Fox News or CNN. Nobody watches both Rachel Maddow and Sean Hannity. They just don't do that. Yeah, pizza sounds good. What else sounds good right about now is me taking a break and bringing this guy up. Glenn Sportcat Jackson is up next. Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
That's news because I was playing videos all morning and finally I get a message from Ken. Hey, we can hear you, but not the video.
Did you not have something selected in voice meter?
No, I didn't.
Weird.
The videos, the volumes for Google Chrome were down a little bit. And the volume for that channel that it's on was down a little bit. But it was definitely, this shit resets itself to other shit that I never said it to.
That's weird. I don't know. Well, yesterday I was doing a show and they're like, your audio just dropped. Can you turn it up? And I'm looking at everything on voice meter and I'm looking at my microphone. I'm like, sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's usually not a complaint I get. I'm usually told to turn it down.
Yeah.
I'm loud, I guess. So,
yeah. Who else was he saying that had the same thing? Yeah. Keith Edwards is a progressive centrist talking head. And he had the same thing happen on his show apparently too.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It's,
well, you know, I told you the other day that happened to me too. It was right before I came on your show. I dropped 3 dB. I was watching it on voice meter. It just dropped.
Yeah. I lost my Facebook feed today too, on top of all this shit.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, man, the future's coming where we got to just pick one. It really is.
That's funny you say that.
It's coming.
Mastiff.media. We offer streaming services as well. So if you're wondering to put whether or not you want to put together a show, why not put together your own radio and TV station? Do it right. Speaking of which, tell me more about this Channel 12 thing. Who's Channel 12 and what are they offering you?
Well, it's a streaming network and it's based out of Reno. They own several FM broadcast stations, a couple TV stations, if I recall correctly, talking to the recruiter. And they want me to do the same shows I'm doing plus more, which kind of concerns me, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Clearly,
you know,
you've got no idea what it takes to put a show like this together.
Well, we actually talked about that because I'm like, I spend probably 4 to 6 hours a day researching stuff for just this show. I said, I probably spend about another hour to 2 hours putting together artwork and show description and then setting it up. And he said, well, you won't have to do any of that anymore. We will produce it. You just do the show and you upload it to us and we put it in your time slot. And I'm like, well, I kind of like the real interaction with the chat. And he hit me up with a serious question. He said, all right, you're on the verge of getting bigger. He said, how many people are in your chat daily? And I said, I don't know, maybe a dozen. And he says, is that worth you losing money for? And I'm like, oh, let me think about that.
And that's fine. But, you know, if this is why I don't do shit like that and I'm not saying stay with me for free and lose the money. No. If I come to you and say, I mean, we were already working together when you did Sportcat's Daily Gazette. You know, I had some input in that because it was like, hey, here's for that time of day. But
yeah, you talked me into this shit.
yeah. If I liked Para or Normal Guys or Saturday Night Misfits, and I'm saying, yes, this will work on my station, on my network, on my channel, on my whatever, I'm not going to bring you on board, then tell you what to do. You're already doing it, or I wouldn't have brought you on board.
Yeah. I agree. But that's not the way their station's set up. They're not set up to do live. let me back up. I don't know if they're set up to do live streams or not. They give you a slot, they put you in it, is pretty much the way I took it.
And that's, I talked to some other radio stations, since even internet stations that I'm not being paid for, but I'm not paying to be on. And I'm going with, here's my spot. You're going to put me on live 5 days a week for 2 hours each show. If I run over, like you and I did a minute and 30 seconds ago.
Oh shit, I didn't even look.
And you cut me because you got another show, I don't expect to cut into that person's time. I get that. But when I was doing 2 days a week with K-Shop and 1 day a week and whatever number of days a week with WDJY and WTAN and all those other stations, and even in the case of the station in London, I'm not getting paid. I'm not paying to be on there, but it's only twice a week.
Yeah.
You're getting me for 10 hours a week, or you're not getting me. Because I'm also getting messages from people that listen to these stations. Hey, where else can I get you? What else can I do this? I'm like, I don't want to take you away from that station. It's because of that station that I got those extra listeners. But now they just want to do this little bit of a taste and give themselves some diversity bullshit. You're interested in me. You're interested in me for 10 hours a week. And during that time, because like you said, I don't have any phone calls today except Ken telling me he couldn't hear anything. I'm finally getting interaction.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting people on Instagram watching for about 45 minutes.
Sweet.
That's huge on radio.
Mm-hmm.
That is 3 times the actual average. Why would I want to get rid of that and force them to find me on some other schedule when I'm also in the process of monetizing myself?
It's true. It's true. It's a lot to think about. Plus, I don't know that I'm really ready for TV. I mean, the guy says I am, but obviously he's a recruiter for his station. So.
You've been. Look, if you weren't ready for TV, you wouldn't have put yourself on YouTube.
Yeah, but YouTube is like, you can set it up in your bedroom and broadcast about your mom's bad asparagus, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. It's like they tell me that I need to start getting on the speaking circuit. I have no ambition to get on the speaking circuit in the paranormal.
That's what I also wanted to do.
Yeah, I've turned down cons
service, but I with the different things I had been through during my career, plus things like a house fire, PTSD, floods, I put together a speech called the 5 R's of Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't plan on at the time was things like alcoholism or drug use, having interest in it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And for recovery. And like, no, that's not the recovery I'm talking about. I'm just talking about you're having a bad day. You do a reset and then go back and attack the problem that caused a bad day.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that alcoholism or addiction?
Mm-hmm.
And so my ex, who was looking at the notes and helping me plan for it, he says, "Look, I can use this in my treatment programs
Nice.
with my patients." I'm like, wow.
You should talk to my guest from a few weeks ago. He was in Texas and had actually been in jail a couple times for his drug use and problems. He went from being, I can't remember, he was a teacher. I don't know if it was elementary, high school, I don't know, college, I don't know. But he lost everything, got arrested, put in jail. Now he's straight. He went back to school, got his degree in, he's not a psychologist, but he's a counselor. And he's going around, he's got a book out, and he's talking about how people can see drug users and think, oh, they can't be fixed, but yet they'll have other mental health problems that they're trying to get help for. And he goes, it's all the same. You know,
Yeah.
So that was the show that took a twist I wasn't expecting, with both my co-hosts crying. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they opened up to him about a lot of stuff, and I'm just kind of sitting here going,
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it was a great show. It was actually, a lot of people commented and sent me some positive feedback about it. So I'm going to try and get him in the Australian hypnotherapist on at the same time and do a special 2-hour show. And I think that will be just awesome, because those two have both been in prison. They both went through recovery. They both have great outlooks.
The Australian guy did too?
Yeah, he's got a book.
I knew he had a book. I didn't know it was about having been locked up, though.
Yeah, he started out as I don't want to say he was an orphan, but basically his family just didn't give a shit. He, broken home, screwed up lifestyle, and he started out as a young adolescent troublemaker. He was even an arsonist. We talked about that. I'm like, damn it, you pyro. And then he went through drug and alcohol and sex addiction, and he started when he was locked up for the longest period of time. He says, one of the perks he's in London, I believe. One of the perks, you get unlimited library use. So you can get books apparently from around the country, or they will specially get books in for you. He read every book on psychology in the mind that he could get his hands on while he was in prison. And they don't have programs like we do here where you can actually attend classes online. So when he got out, he took classes, but he was far ahead of the grade. And he's awesome. He's just awesome. So.
Yeah, I did see part of that show, and I think you've actually had him on multiple times.
Yeah, I have.
I did see part of the one show that he was on, and it was actually pretty impressive speaker.
Yeah, and he enjoys coming on our show, and he has paranormal stories too. Of course, he has paranormal stories from clients as well, which is kind of cool. So, but did he actually have something from in prison also? No, that was the most recent one. He had paranormal events while he was in prison. He was in, I don't remember the name of the prison, but it's the one in Texas where they have old Sparky. And he would talk about how the energy and the activity there was just through the roof.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
Well, I need to research today myself. I just don't feel this today. Yeah, let me have the radio. See if I can still
go.
All right, see if I can still go live anywhere in the world. See if anybody still wants to hear me. Some days I even don't wonder why you let me connect.
I like fighting with you.
Oh, I do too, but some days it just drags me down. And I didn't send you that article today to start a fight. I sent it because it was an editorial.
I didn't even get to read it, so I don't even know who was. But the first thing I saw was, I know that the liberals, the progressive side, is getting their ass chewed on for hiring demonstrators.
They both do it.
That's as far back as Occupy DC, Occupy Wall Street. Mm-hmm. That was all paid demonstrators. No, it wasn't all, but that was very largely backed or instigated by paid demonstrators. And I know as a fact that I sat in on the meetings when there's demonstrations in front of the White House.
Yeah.
Organizers of the demonstration get together with primarily the Park Police, but also the Uniform Division and the Washington Field Office. And they plan, they tell you what they're going to talk about and how long and who's all going to be there, if there's like any celebrity speakers or anything like that. And then the Park Police guy goes, okay, so how many you plan on getting arrested? And the first time I heard that, I'm like, I turn and I look like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the agent that was with me, was sitting to my left, and the Park Police guy was a couple seats down from him. So I'm also looking at my partner, and he has been through a meeting like this already. So he knows that my reaction was coming, and he never gave me the heads up. And so he just sits there, starts laughing. And I think the organizers got a little pissed off because we're laughing at them being arrested. I was laughing at the fact that they knew these people were going to be arrested.
Yeah, out the gate.
Going into it. Well, what happens is, for safety, the organizers of the event determine how many people they want to use to essentially make their point.
Mm-hmm. It's just lobbying.
So they know that X number of demonstrators are going to sit in like the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue and disobey a lawful order and not disperse or not move to the curb, to the sidewalk. And so they'll give the order 3 times, and they don't do it, they start arresting people. And because they're going to be through so many different people, they don't even put them in handcuffs. They put them in zip ties.
Yeah.
And not even the zip ties that law enforcement, it's got double zips and, 2 loops pre-done. No. Good old-fashioned, we just got back from Home Depot zip ties.
It's cheaper that way. You got a budget. What are you talking about?
And so the park police bring this trailer, and there's a processing center in the trailer. They get fingerprinted, they get photographed, whole 9 yards. It's a real arrest. This goes on their criminal history now. And I'm thinking, for what?
Exactly. Why? Nothing is worth me getting a criminal record. Nothing.
And not only that, but this is literally every day.
Mm-hmm.
You think that after a certain point, soon into it, even freshman congressmen have come to a point where, another demo. Who's my 2:00 appointment?
Yep. Yeah, it's just another form of lobbying. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're not reaching. Yeah, that's a good point. But it's a poor one.
Agreed.
You're not reaching in it. You don't get media coverage.
Well, now you are because of the size.
No. I've seen large demos right in the middle of the White House lawn. Not the lawn, but right on the...
I would say that's not a demo. That's not a protest on the lawn.
Yeah, if they get on the lawn, you'll get news coverage.
Exactly.
But no, I misspoke there. But right on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
And there isn't a camera in sight.
Well,
and actually there is, because right over there on West Exec, between the White House, West Wing, and the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, is the one outdoor staging area. When Britt Hume or somebody is live from the White House, that's the part of the White House that's the backdrop.
Yeah.
So there is a camera within shouting distance.
Mm-hmm.
They still don't get any coverage.
Well, my buddy that does the media stuff for Getty, he has a YouTube channel, and he's like, okay, that's the paid protest today. We're going to pass it. Nobody's interested in this one. And yeah, he actually tells you. He says, "Now they're not interested in this one. That was yesterday." So he tells you what they want. So
that's why, could legacy media be doing a better job? Yes. But also, like I said, it's every day.
Yeah.
Even to anybody, to the audience, to everybody, seeing that shit happen every day is going to get old.
Oh, yeah. I know when I used to fight traffic, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, just let me get home.
Do you know there's a school shooting in this country once a month?
I didn't know it was monthly, but I knew it was fairly frequently, yeah.
Way more frequently than what we're hearing on CNN.
Oh, cool. Well, because if you look, they just redefined. I talked about this a few weeks ago. They redefined in the AP the definition of mass murder and mass shooting. And you have to have 4 people to get a mass shooting, deaths, confirmed deaths, before AP is interested in it. And to get mass murder, you have to have 6. I might be backwards on that. No, because murder would be more. So yeah, and yeah, that's you can go to AP and look up their definitions on things, and they're not going to touch it unless they get 4 confirmed deaths before they roll on the street, which I think is asinine. But that's just me. I don't think anybody should be shot. School, parking lot, mall, home, wherever. Not that I'm not pro Second Amendment. I just don't. I think there's better ways to settle your argument. So,
not only that, but we were talking about that last night on The Point with Travis Evans at Tuesday Night Show. I'm sometimes on, and there was this guy in Seattle, a heavy-set, overweight black man in a wheelchair, is a veteran, and some "I'm better than you" asshole comes up to him and says, "Who are you? You're not a veteran." And he says, "Yes, I am." He says, "Show me your veteran's ID." Black dude's like, "I don't got to show you nothing."
Exactly.
Argument ensues. The black guy tries to run the white guy over with his wheelchair.
Jesus Christ.
So in self-defense, air quotes being used, the white guy shoots him.
I think a throat punch would have been better in that case, but
because I guess at the age of 50, 58 maybe, he was in mid to late 50s, you can't walk faster than a fat guy in a wheelchair?
That was his argument?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he win?
He just pled not guilty earlier this week to.
I'm old and fat, but I don't want to use that as a defense.
He just pled not guilty to, and it wasn't even attempted homicide. It was not guilty to assault. I'm like, he fucking shot a guy. That's
pretty much the definition of assault. Actually, more, but okay.
What? But with a weapon, a deadly weapon.
I see maybe like hit him in the head with the butt of it or something. But geez,
let's get an attempted murder worked in there.
Yeah, at least.
I guess. Well, they might have an issue with the premeditated.
Yeah, premeditated they probably couldn't get, but yeah.
But the white guy did go up to the black guy. So, not to sound like a child, but the white guy started it.
Yeah.
That's a little premeditated.
Well, you're going to hear about that today in my Cincinnati story. So,
yeah.
Yeah, they arrested the white guy because the black public called out for it, that he didn't walk away from the fight that he supposedly started. It's he said, she said on that one, but he didn't walk away, so he deserved the ass beating, and he needs to be arrested. Literally, that's what they said. Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, but in the press release. So that's bullshit.
I've always been taught, and this was like in self-defense courses, and when I say self-defense, I mean shooting or gun self-defense classes. Mm-hmm. Your first step is to evacuate. And if you evacuate and you're not followed, or you're faster than the attacker, or whatever, no need for further self-defense. You just engaged in it.
Yeah. That's old style, yeah.
Legal self-defense. Yeah, but you're still talking about the law. Legal
now they argue you can one up.
No.
But now if you're talking about a castle law, then yes, you have to escape. You have to have a means of escape. If you have no means of escape, you can one up. So now if somebody's coming at with you a knife and you got a gun, well.
Oh yeah, but both are deadly. And frankly, I've always said, having been in training exercises against both, I would always much rather go up against somebody with a gun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, every course I've taken, 100%. I'm going to shoot you within 25 feet of me with a knife. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, that's just, I took a course from, and we're way over time here, but I took a course from he was a military instructor for basically every knife that you could possibly imagine and how to use it effectively to eliminate the threat. And he was telling police officers when he'd start the course, they're like, oh, well, I'll shoot you before you come over here. Now, mind you, this guy was retired military. He's in his 60s. And I'm sitting in the back going, yeah, I've seen this before. There's some cop saying I can shoot you before you get over here with the pocket knife. And that old man was across the room and on top of him like a spider monkey before it was a training gun in his holster before he could clear the holster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, no, never let anybody get close to you with a knife. Never.
Well, the guy that did that first study, don't ask me how I remember this of all the other shit that I forget, but I think he was Seattle police. He was a sergeant named Tueller, Tueller or Teuller. It's called the Tueller drill. And it's where you start at X feet away, one with a knife, one with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Training weapons, of course. And they say, go. The knife is the attacker. The gun is the police officer. And you measure, how much, paint the knife puts on the officer before he gets a shot off.
Yep.
It was 15 feet.
Mm-hmm. That's
back
about right.
when I was trained as a rookie officer in the late 90s.
That's about right, yeah.
And even before I got way through the secret, even still, I don't know if it was even in the Secret Service yet, they upped it into the 20s.
Yeah, 25 was what they're teaching in this last class I had in Georgia.
Yeah. And that is that at, we'll say now 25 feet, you're going to get a shot off as that police officer. And at 25 feet, you'll have better chances of survival.
Yep. But
at that distance, you're still going to get knifed on some level, whether it's the edge, you're getting a glancing from the point, whatever. If that little bit of a slap of the hand happens to the shooter and that shooter just misses or just moves their hand by that much, at 25 feet, that angle not only missed you, it didn't even come anywhere close to you. And even at 3 or 4 feet, just by slapping the hand of the gun carrier to the side, down to the ground, wherever, is going to miss your vital areas.
Mm-hmm.
And probably with a bullet, quite possibly miss you altogether.
If you want to see a great video, and I got to get out of here, Fairfax County Police had a shooting. Yeah, welcome to the after show. Hello, Ken. I didn't forget to see you over there. Go to the Fairfax County Police. They had a police shooting. An Asian officer shot a black female who was, I think she was one of the people in charge of Black Lives Matter. He was doing, and I only say that because it's in the article. So any article you reference, and take the S out of that. It's Sport Cat. It's like two N's on Glenn. I hate that. So anyhow, he's doing a welfare check and he's doing the typical knock beside the door, identifying himself, and, when she opens the door, she comes at him with a steak knife, and before he can react, she cuts his throat, cuts his face and his arm as he's pushing her away. He's backing down the hall. He's drawn now. He's telling her to stop, and she is screaming, coming at him with the knife, and he's identifying himself. And luckily, he was a good shot, and he got it off. But he was seriously injured, and he was doing everything right. Knocked to the side of the door, identify himself, and yeah, I mean, whew. Of course, They tried to say that was a racial shooting, and they had to come out and go, no, he was an Asian officer. He was cut. Here's the video. And of course, they still tried to, at any rate, I'll just leave that at that. So
Yeah.
Everybody hates the police until they need them. So that's why everybody loves the firemen. That's why we would get the bad calls. We would get called and be like, "Oh, we smell smoke." We get there and there's a person shot. And we're like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, we didn't want to call the cops." Jesus Christ! Well, you might need them. Happened more than once. So let me get out of here. Message them and tell them on Radio Australia. I may run over a little bit today. So.
Okay.
All right, brother. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day. We'll argue again later. We argue like cats and dogs. See, you're Mastiff Media with the dog, and I'm the sports cat. So fuck off, Ken. All right. I'll talk to you later, man. All right. Bye.
All right. Sport Cat's up next. Sport Cat, Glenn Sport Cat Jackson. Yeah, I got it right. One end. Sport Cat Jackson. Sport Cat's Daily Gazette is the show that's up. He's already on Jurg's Radio and the Dare Media Network, the Dare Radio Media Network. You can find him by going on for video, going to YouTube and searching Sport Cat shows, not Sports Cat, Sport Cat shows, or just go to Para or Normal Guys with a Z, 4 words, and you can find him there. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know. I'm working on the letters. Maybe we'll have the letters to the law enforcement community up next. Plenty of other things we didn't get to today, and we'll tomorrow. That's it, gang. Thanks for going up the middle, and actually for getting off the porch and going off the middle. We'll see you again tomorrow. Later.